Hello viewer, and welcome to Let's Play Pokemon Fire Red. Yes, you heard me correctly, Pokemon Fire Red. I know it's a slight detour from what I usually do, but I've been feeling quite Pokemon-y recently. I don't know whether it's the Christmas spirit or the thrill of a new year, but I'm going to be doing a Pokemon Fire Red Nuzlocke run-through. I've never done this before, but for those of you who don't know, a Nuzlocke run is extremely difficult. It's one of the biggest challenges you can have in a Pokemon game, and I think I will talk you through it, the rules and such, as we listen to Professor Oak's speech. Oh no, not again. I've taken too long already. Right, let's go then. Adjust the mic there, so you don't keep hearing me breathing. I'm going to start a new game. Okay, so basically a Nuzlocke run through is one where you there are certain rules you have to follow. The first one is you can only capture one Pokemon per route, and it's the first one that you come across. So if you were going into say Route 1 and you came across a Rattata, you couldn't go back to that route later on and catch a Pidgey. You had to catch that Rattata if you wanted to catch a Pokemon at all on that route. Which makes it extremely difficult, particularly seeing as when you first go into Route 1 you don't have any Pokeballs. So unless you can avoid Pokemon, you can't catch anything on Route 1. That's one of the aspects that makes it extremely difficult, because technically there are a finite amount of Pokemon you can capture, one for every route. The second rule is if your Pokemon faints in battle, as soon as you can, you have to release it or put it into a box or something and never use it again for the rest of the game. The idea is that they died in battle, and that just to make it harder, you can never use that Pokemon again, and you have to train another one from scratch. That's what's make it that is what makes it particularly difficult. I apologise for my stumbling there, but then if you've watched any of my other Let's Plays, you probably already know that I stumble a lot. Okay, so we're going to be playing as a boy. There are a couple more rules, but I'm going to get this out of the way to begin with. Now, what to call ourselves? How about simply... as always, I refuse to finish my name. It's going to be Drago. Drago, not Dragon, Drago. And as always with Pokemon games, it's caps all the way. My rival is always Gary. Well, at least in Fire Red and Blue and Red and that, it's always Gary. It's just something I like to go along with. Okay, so the third rule of Nuzlocke, well, it's really a unofficial rule, but it's that you have to nickname every single one of your Pokemon, because through the course of Nuzlockes you get really attached to your Pokemon. I know that seems like, oh, here we go, Pokemon, the kids thing, you're going to get really attached, blah blah blah, but no, really, you can get really attached to some of your Pokemon when you do a Nuzlocke, because they're your only Pokemon. Let's speak to Mum. I probably won't be speaking for most of the characters, particularly if they're not key places. Ugh, I'm gonna have to use the D-pad here. If you haven't already guessed, I'm using a GameCube here to play my Fire Red version on. I could have just used an emulator to avoid loads of risks, and well, no, not risks. As far as risks go, using a Nuzlocke to avoid risks is not the best way. But yeah, to avoid loads of technical difficulties, it probably would have been better if I just used an emulator, but no, I just like the feel of a GameCube, and it's my cartridge, and I want to be able to go back to this afterwards and, you know, maybe trade Pokemon if I get really attached to some of my Pokemon, which is unlikely. Well, that's what I tell myself. Okay, so first Pokemon, we get the choice of Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle. I'm gonna go with Squirtle, just because I don't really use them a lot actually. I tend to go with either Bulbasaur or Charmander most of the time, so let's choose Squirtle this time. Let's be different. And I know exactly what I'm gonna nickname Squirtle here. Wait, yeah, capitals all the way, no lowercase. That's right, Lock. And no, that's not just because Nuzlocke is spelled lock like that, and I wanted to call my Pokemon it's kind of strange shortening of Nuzlocke. That would be just weird. But no, if you truly do know why I'm suggesting that, and you guessed the importance of that name, give yourself 10 points. And if you don't, deduct 50. Because I mean, come on, get your act together. Start looking around for Pokemon comics. They're fantastic. I urge you to do so. I might provide you with a link. And yes, there can be negatives, and I encourage you to have negatives in my point system. In fact, if you have a positive score, you're probably one of the only people who do. Yes, I have had a Pokemon back before. Okay, first Pokemon battle, and it's going to be extremely anticlimactic. Especially with Oak butting in like that. Yeah, butting in. I should have just ended that sentence right there. And in case you didn't know, critical hits are the bane of a Nuzlocke's existence. Whether they work for you or against you, I just wish they didn't exist at all. Because you can be in green health like Locke is now, think you can take another hit from an opponent, and that's the word, but you can't because it gets a critical hit, your Pokemon dies, you can't use it ever again, it could be one of your best Pokemon. I hope we don't lose too many on the first stretch to Pewter City, although it's entirely possible actually that I, catch a Pidgey or something and don't train it much. Oh, yes, you. I find Fire Red is probably one of... Oh, god damn it. I find Fire Red is... Wow. First encounter. It was a Rattata. What did I tell you? It was gonna be a Rattata. Yes, so anyway, I find that Fire Red is the game that tries to be the most helpful, and by doing so it becomes the least helpful. Because all the other Pokemon games, none of them had that blue text to begin with, explaining all the controls and everything. They just assumed you read the guide or had played a game before. And they also keep giving you loads of trainer tips, and the first 2 cities in Fire Red are all I'll help you do this. They're holding your hand all the way up to your second gym. It can get annoying sometimes. I'm going to take the shorter way around. This is technically damn it! I tried to be smart and take the short way around and I got into another fight. Many people would say I should be doing all the fights that I come across to level up Locke, but sometimes the fights are just really tedious. Especially early on. Later on they're quite fun. And when I can actually capture a Pokemon, they're fun. Yay, bubble! Yeah, I took a long way after that. What are the odds of me getting into another fight, eh? Oh, I like that music. First of all, going to a Pokemon Center. God damn it! I keep forgetting to use the D-pad rather than the joystick. Because in Pokemon games you've only got really 4 directions of movement, which isn't all that useful. It's not it's not useful to have a joystick when you have only 4 directions of movement. And God, can I not wait until I get the running shoes and the bike. Any increase in speed is welcome. Oaks Parcel. Okay, all the way back to Pallet Town. I'm also going to be assuming, like I did in my Sins of the Solar Empire Let's Play, that you all are familiar with Pokemon, and Pokemon Fire Red in particular, and the plot and everything. I'm not going to be explaining much at all, really, except my plan for the future and just general Poke chat. So far, the most challenging thing about this Nuzlocke Let's Play has been getting through the doors. Looks like I should be skipping this. So, as I said, I'm going to be assuming you can all read, and if you're that interested in the plot at this point, pause the video and read the text as it comes along. I'll give you a couple seconds as I scan and read each section. I know some people voice act to these during their Let's Plays, but I think that can get more annoying than funny. It just wears off eventually and they can't do much for their throat. The first time I played this, I actually didn't bother to go around to his sister's house because I thought it was just being a jerk, and I didn't know where his house was, but yeah, I didn't bother to go in here and get a town map, so throughout the entire game, until I got flying, came back here to get to Cinnabar Town, which we'll talk about later, much later, I did not have a town map. Fun fact. But it is quite useful, so I suggest you come in there and you go in there and get it when you play. Yes, but it's not essential, because I managed to do it. And I was like, 11, 12. Although we have Pokeballs, we've been on this route before, so no catching for us. I do hope to get a Caterpie to evolve into a Butterfree, because it's one of my favourite Pokemon. Don't judge me, I just like them. So if I get a Weedle, I'll be quite sad. But there are many other places I can get Caterpie. So if I don't get one in Viridian Forest, but still later on. I'd also kind of like a Nidoran, male or female, I'm not too picky. Yes, because I like them as well. I must say, the first generation got some of my favourite Pokemon in it. Just going over to Route 22. This is the first time we're here, so I can catch a Pokemon here. There's a chance I could get a Mankey. I don't particularly like them, but I might not have much of a choice, so I'll probably catch it regardless. But I'm going to stick to my 15-minute rule, as in I try not to go over 15 minutes because I like to break them up into even segments, on the video that is. So I'll see you all next time, and we'll catch my second Pokemon.